After going to Double Butte on the south side, I found an interesting place to go to on the north side, and it looked like it was going to be difficult to get to, and it was, but it had some interesting stone alignments that I wanted to investigate up close. And so I talked my husband into going. We didn't have four-wheel drive, but we had a truck. And what happened was, right when we got there into the area, we got stuck coming in. So we were stuck in the area. And so right away, he was very focused on trying to get out. But I did find the stripes that were in the aerial pictures, and they were like a lot bigger, and they look like quartzy pegmatite zones. Like there was a zone of quartz pegmatite inside of the stone in a line. But I did not have much time to investigate, not as much as time as I would have liked. I got out of the car real quick right here because this was the area that I was looking at in the maps. So I got to get out here for a little while and take some pictures up close. And I did take a picture of an interesting stone that I ended up going back to find and take better pictures of. But for the most part, I was just taking pictures in the car, in the truck, and he was very focused on getting how we were going to get out of there since we didn't have four-wheel drive and the sun was setting. I was very happy to be there, wanted to stay longer, and I especially wanted to stay for the sunset, but I knew that I had to help focus on getting out of there. But I did get to zoom in on some things and take pictures of interesting rocks, and I zoomed in on the top left corner there of these rocks just to show that there's so many strange rocks that look like faces and giant body parts and things like that. But this looking kind of like a dolmen of sorts. So I didn't get to spend enough time there at all. And I was so interested in the area that I ended up talking a friend of mine into taking me back up there. And she had a four-wheel drive, and we definitely put it to the test. But I was really happy to get up there when I was with her because we were able to spend the whole day. I also took a picture of this strange, looking stone alignment that almost looks like bricks and stuff buried. But there was just a lot of enormous rocks, and unfortunately, a lot of them had been spray painted, which was often very distracting, from what you're actually looking at. But the rocks there still had a very strange look to them, and they were very memorable. And some of them looked like, again, had that reptilian look to them. And of course, the idea, I understand that water repeatedly over time will erode rocks and make them crack and do interesting things like that. But it's hard to deny the strange rock formations there. And again, like I said, you saw from the aerial pictures, I went there looking for architectural types of things, and I did miss an entire area still to this day that I was not able to get back to. But because when I did go back there, I was just again focused on taking pictures of as many rocks as I could because there's so many. But some of them are in strange alignments and broken and cracked in strange ways that make you take a double look for sure. And like I said, all these pictures up until now are of when I went with my husband, and it was so beautiful there when the sun was setting, which was right when we left. and the rocks really seem to start glowing. Um, I'm sure it's really beautiful up there. And I bet there's some strange, like you could probably get some really cool pictures with some of the rock alignments that are there, like because some of them will have gaps in them and little holes and peekaboos and things like that. But all of the pictures that I took, actually both times, even though I had more time the second time, they were all taken on the fly. But so yeah, I couldn't quit thinking about this area and how bad I wanted to get back to it for some reason. Sometimes I do that. I think about an area, and this area was also hard to get to, I knew, because I wasn't an area I'd want to go by myself. But I did talk my friend into taking me, and before we got there, we saw these rocks underground that had these strange lines in them. And she loves rocks, so I convinced her to take me there. And yeah, this is us with the four-wheel drive. And it was very hot that day, but it was a challenge even with four-wheel drive. But I was just so happy to be there. This was actually us on the way down. It was just as bad on the way up too, though, but because we had to take the same road. But once we were there, I was very excited to be there and immediately started to see strange rock formations like this one that just has this sheer split in it. Like the rock was just kind of like sheared off, like in a big slice. And a graffiti is most unfortunate. I don't appreciate it at all. And I'm sure that if you graffiti places that are sacred, you will be cursed. You should be graffitiing modern things in your time if you want to make a statement. But to be graffitiing things you don't know anything about is really stupid. Probably cursed. So, anyways, look at these strange rock formations, all in alignment and all looking very, oh, this is on the other side of them, but they're all looking very suspiciously like figures of some kind. And yes, they have been spray painted. Again, really, really bad luck. Don't do that. Really, don't spray paint on these things. And if you think no one can see you, that's like saying you don't believe in anything you can't see, and that I can prove is complete stupidity. But I digress, and I probably will digress about that again and again and again the more I see the graffiti. But let's get back to the strange stones. This one coming up looking obviously like a head of some kind. It almost looks like they were stone statues or whatever, and then the stone softened and then it hardened again. And when it softened, maybe it was jumbled in some way. This looking unfortunately with the target above her head was clearly like a giant. I could see that it was a female. Anyway, some of them are quite obvious, and I don't know if I need to, some of them are just strange, and others are very obvious what they are. I don't even feel like I need to really draw it in for you because, you see it, don't you? It's pretty obvious what you're looking at. It's not coincidental. But I think these things might be so old and have been just jumbled. You do see a common snake reptilian theme going on, but notice in front of the snake's mouth the little baby. And this little secret, this thing stretching, this reptilianish looking thing. And it goes on and on. You see strange stone heads and stone statues and coming up. Well, this looks like a statue that's been disfigured. And I wish I would have taken better pictures, but there's just so many things to photograph. Here, there's a mummy laying face up. Um, and if you take a picture of all the rocks at once, then when you sort of zoom in, you start to see things. And like this picture, when I zoom in, I don't know how this could be explained. This thing sticking out can be explained like geologically. It's just too weird. Now it looks like there's some bird poop of sorts running down the side of the mountain. But it's just such a massive rock. And here I went back and took some pictures of what I thought was maybe some carvings. But I think it's just, I wasn't sure what it is. It looked kind of maybe natural. There's water. I don't know. It's kind of up high. But, the area, the rocks have very interesting surfaces and textures. And, I'm there taking pictures of trying to take it all in because there's a lot of things to look at. And this one rock had this like quartzy pink surface with some green in it, and it was just huge and it was beautiful. And the whole area is very pretty. There's fresh chamomile growing, and it's really neat to be up there, but it is a little bit scary because of the graffiti and the area below. There's a little bit of possible gang activity going on. I wouldn't want to be here when the people with graffiti and shooting are up here. And of course, I do run into a dead animal, but it's nothing really that suspicious because, there's probably a few animals up here, crammed up here, you know. And this is a really nice little bird house. And I didn't notice it at the time until I zoomed in, but a little feathery bird creature and a little lizard down at the bottom. And he's got a very, he looks like a lot of the rocks around. Oh, and again, I find this often, and it's people dumping their entire apartments in what they think is the middle of nowhere. And you know what? I not wishing you bad luck. I'm warning people about the bad luck that they will incur doing things like this. And again, I digress and go back to look at this slab. I know that water is the cause of some of these rocks being split and stuff the way they are, but where's the other side to it? And it's just weird stuff like that. And a little cracked out reptilian looking rocky skin. There was just a lots and lots to take pictures of, and this is us coming down. And on our way down, there's still more rocks to see, like this slab area. It's really large, and just more heads and things, mixed in with other body parts, looking like, statues or petrified stone giants and reptilian things and stuff. And I'm not fully recognizing it all at the time, but I mean, I'm just seeing strange rocks and taking pictures. This was just along the road. We just saw this metal, some like kind of thing that had made the rock form like that. I don't know if they did that when making the road or whatever, but again, you see the graffiti, and it's really too bad. Too bad, too bad, too bad. This stone looking a lot like a petrified piece of large petrified wood. And there's a lot of dinosaur activity that was in the area before. And, along with that, I think there was a lot more going on. And this is kind of like a kingly looking head that you see, his nose, and you can see his big eye, and it looks like eyelashes and stuff. These might just be statues. But the part that I did miss that I still would love to go back and look at in this area was this strange man-made, definitely looking um types of lines and stuff. And then this right in front of it, you can see the indentations in the ground of like what's going on here. And just this sharp angles, very hard to get to right here. Very, 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 very hard. But there's things going on. Trust me, there are.